So today I have some stuff to share with you, and that includes some unpopular opinions. So brace yourselves. Um, Although I'm sure you will, most of you at least will agree with me. So today we're going to talk about how much exercise does your dog really need? We are spaniel people, and we choose to live with spaniels. A lot of us here in this community choose to live in particular with very busy types of spaniels. So we often choose working cockers and Springer spaniels, in particular working type Springer spaniels, as our life companions. And often when we first look into what kind of dog breed would suit our life, the kind of typical information that you will get is that there are certain breeds that need more exercise and there are certain breeds that need less exercise, and that this exercise is the thing that makes working breed different. The need for exercise makes a certain breed different from another breed. There's of course all these other things like temperament and looks and all this stuff, but we are told that if we have a working cocker in our lives, then that dog is going to need hours and hours and hours of exercise, versus if we have a show cocker in our lives, then that dog is going to need less exercise. And that basically often makes us think that so long as we can fulfill the required amount of exercise, and that's often given in hours or miles, then we have kind of fulfilled the dog's needs. So long as the dog is getting fed, they have water, they're healthy, and they have exercise, then that's it. They are happy dogs, and we have fulfilled our role as owners. And we often worry, I mean, this is just a question that comes up so often, about how much exercise, about how much is too much, how much is not enough. And also people saying, you know, I wanted to make sure my dog gets enough exercise, and therefore I want to do that, and that's why I need to, you know, take my dog for this particular walk every day, or it can create some problems. So I want to clear the air a little bit around this all kind of concept. There may be a moment in a second where my dogs are gonna start alarm barking because my veg delivery is arriving just now. And so at some point, there'll be probably a knock on the door, and my dogs are going to go from lying down to being on all fours and letting me know all about the suspicious man at the door. So we'll deal with that as it comes. So exercise. How much exercise your dog needs is a very strange question really to ask, because, and this is just a question that I see a lot. That's why this is the topic of today's chat. But that question cannot be answered unless we take into account a list of factors. So, or the answer is, it depends. It depends what kind of exercise are we talking about. Are we talking about walking on a lead along a pavement? Are we talking about off-lead running, free running around a field full of rabbits and squirrels? Are we talking about running with you? So you are running with your dog attached to you by a harness and running belt and a lead? Are we talking about mental exercise, so your dog solving problems? Are we talking about training as exercise? Are we talking about strength and conditioning, balance and developing core muscles, so actual kind of gym for dogs types of exercises? What kind of exercise is exercise? Are we talking two dogs playing free, you know, wrestling and chasing each other and you know, kind of play fighting? Is that is that what's exercise? Because when we say how much exercise, we have to take all of these things into consideration. And so there are different types of exercise. That's one thing that we need to know first. What kind of exercise are we actually asking about? Because a lot of people really think that the main exercise that spaniels need is the running off lead, is the running. So and sometimes people take it as far as taking a ball chucker with them on a walk and throwing a ball for the dog, just so the dog gets more actual running time, so more actual physical chase and sprint running. And is that good exercise? Debatable. We touched on this last week very, very delicately. It's probably not really the main, it's probably not a good idea for this to be your main exercise, because we're not really, there's a difference between exercise and fulfillment. How much activity does your dog really need to be fulfilled? How much does your dog need to be satisfied and healthy and have a sense of well-being? Okay, so the type of exercise matters. We're going to come back to this topic in a minute again. And if you guys want to ask me anything about the ball chuckers, feel free. I'm just going to make sure that I can see any comments coming in. I'm just going on here and seeing if you can see me. So type of exercise. Okay, the other thing that matters, the other thing that's important, that's key, is let me just check. Are you still seeing me? Can you guys tell me if you're still seeing me, so that I can be sure that that I see you, and that you are seeing me, that you are hearing me? Because this is the first time I'm doing this with this new setup. So I'm streaming from Zoom because I want to share my screen with you in a moment. So Zoom allows that. Okay, so the other factor that matters is what age is your dog? Actually, let's start with a different one. What breed is your dog? What breed is your dog? So that will partially determine how much exercise your dog needs. Thanks, Nikki and Sean. Thank you. So what breed have you got? If you got a dog of a working breed, chances are your dog will need more of certain types of exercise. If you have a dog who has been bred to be laid back and enjoy a lot of lazy time, then your dog will probably need less kind of physical exercise, and they will probably not need to have their stamina tested and improved and pushed to the limits. Okay, so the other factor is how old is your dog? How much exercise your dog needs, how much of each type of exercise your dog needs will depend on the age. When dogs are growing and their skeletal system is forming, it's important that dogs during this time have certain type of exercise, but not other type of exercise. So it's not the whole rule of 5 minutes per month. Is probably all of you guys have found is not very helpful, is it? Because it doesn't tell us what kind of exercise. Is dog-to-dog play considered exercise? Is running around the house having zoomies in the evening, which just happens, or when the dog is tired, is that considered exercise? Well, it's exercise, isn't it? It would be. Is pottering around in the garden exercise? For a puppy, it probably is, because to them grass goes up to quite high up, and they have to actually step over blades of grass and things. So for them it's probably exercise. So what kind of exercise is appropriate? that's a better question. What kind of exercise in what quantities is appropriate for your breed and age of dog? And then apart from breed and age, we also have things like character. We also have things like temperament and preferences, likes and dislikes. If your dog doesn't like walking past the busy road, then if you take them along a busy road in the name of exercise, just to make sure that they're getting the right level of exercise, you're possibly doing more harm than good, because they're experiencing a lot of stress every day, multiple times a day, that is compiling and possibly causing more damage to their health than good over long term. I'm painting quite a dismal picture here, and I'm exaggerating on purpose so that you can see the contrast between two different things. But of course, most situations aren't quite so black and white. So how do we determine how much exercise the dog needs, the dog of a particular breed, of a particular age needs? There is a really nice, neat little thing, and that's been developed by a gang called, hi Leah, by a gang called Avidog, and they have this really neat PDF guide that I'm going to show you how to access, which will tell you, for those of you guys who have dogs who are still growing, still developing, this is a fabulous resource, I think. And again, both hands up, I am not trained in this area of I'm not trained to give you advice on kind of physical health, right? Your veterinarians and your specialists that deal, like physio specialists and conditioning specialists, these are the people who have the knowledge to advise you on this, the same as I'm not I'm not qualified to give you advice on nutrition. I can give you opinions, I can give you just good general practice, but I'm not an expert in this field. What I'm going to do is, my plan is to bring in experts in those fields into this group so they can talk to you about those specifics. But there is one thing I can share with you straight away, and I'm going to try to do this now. And that's going to be how to access this Avidog guide, which is just super cool. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, goodness me, that screen looks rather messy. Hope you can see my screen. You should be seeing a Google search box. Okay, what I want you to put in this box is Avidog. It doesn't have to be in capitals. So Avidog puppy exercise. These are 3 search words I use to find this particular PDF guide when I share it with people, because it's such a fabulous resource. And then search. Okay, the first thing that will come up is going to be puppy exercise guidelines, and you will see that it's a PDF. So click on that and just save that to your computer. You can scroll to this. It's just a 1-page overview. You can zoom in to see more clearly, because this is obviously quite a reduced view. So if you zoom it in, it would really need to refresh to be fully visible for you. So on my screen, you're not going to be able to see it all that well, but when you zoom this in on your computer, you should be able to read all these things quite comfortably. So you know that in adolescence, for example, there are certain activities that your dog is able to do, and there are certain exercises that your dog shouldn't really be doing during adolescence. So for example, the non refers to endurance training. So using aerobic conditioning to enable your dog to run, swim long distances. Okay, so this is a fabulous resource. Like I said, guys, go and go ahead and grab it. Okay, good. So this is the AviDog resource. Like I said, I'm gonna invite people who know a lot more about this stuff to talk to you here in this group. There is already in the guide section a fabulous recorded video. If you go into guide section at the top of the group, you will see a video interview, a live interview that was recorded, the recording from it, the replay, with someone who knows about this stuff and can tell you a lot more. Okay, so now what I want to talk to you about is about those kinds of exercise. So we talked about what type of exercise, what breed, what age, what temperament, and what personality. So some dogs, even of working breeds, just don't particularly need to be doing loads and moving a lot. They are quite happy to chill until they're asked to move. And some dogs are have ants in their pants and they will just not settle and they have to be doing. And those dogs may potentially need to have access to different types of activities. And we also touched briefly on likes and dislikes. What does your dog like to do? Now, a thing to take into consideration as well is not only what the kind of exercise you are using, what effect it has on your dog's health. Is it beneficial? What you're doing for exercise, is it actually beneficial to your dog's health and well-being? But also, is it beneficial to your relationship with your dog? Because ultimately, dogs who have better level of training and engagement with their owners, our companion dogs, we're talking about family dogs, companion dogs, those dogs who have a better level of engagement, who are better behaved, if that for a lack of a better expression, you all know what that means, because it means something different to different people, but you know what that's going to mean to you and for you. If you have a dog that you can take to lots of places and you know that that dog will reliably listen to you and behave in a way that makes them a pleasure to bring to lots of places, or to involve that dog in more of your activities in daily life, and to give that dog more of a choice of different things to do, that dog will ultimately have a better life. So it's not just how much actual exercise is your dog getting, but is the exercise that you're doing, is that beneficial to your relationship with your dog? Because if you've got a young spaniel, high drive hunting type spaniel who is a pet and who isn't involved in any training other than just kind of basic manners, who isn't involved in gun dog games, is not involved in scent work or trailing or agility or any actual interactive very fun activity with you, that dog is going to find themselves a job. That dog is going to find themselves fun and thrills through running off lead, chasing rabbits. Okay. And at some point you may decide that your dog becomes so unresponsive to recall, to you calling them back, that you may have to start putting them on lead, and that will be the end of potentially that. Or the dog might disappear or get stolen, or again, I don't want to go down into like the doom side, but my point is what we're doing for our dog's exercise, is it well balanced, or is it complementing what we're doing with our dogs to build their relationship, to make them, to give them what they need to have the best life with us they can possibly have, and for us to have the best life with our dogs we can possibly have. every single one of you who chose to have a working cocker or a springer or any working type dog in your life, you are people who love adventures. You are people who love challenges. You have people who love being out and about and seeing, discovering, and pushing yourself to the limit, because you wouldn't have chosen a breed like this otherwise. And everybody else who is in this group who has a honorary spaniel, I can probably also relate to this statement, just because this is the type of community we are. So that's why I mean, exercise isn't just letting your dog run off lead in circles or chasing rabbits. Exercise is balance exercises. How is your dog's coordination? Is your dog comfortable walking slowly? Because that's exercise. Walking slowly is actually really hard exercise for spaniels, as all of you will probably have found at some point or another. Can your dog bend? Does your dog have a nice, good flexibility? Are they aware of different parts of their body? Do they have good proprioception? Do they have good balance? Do they have good coordination? Do they have good core strength? Do they have a well balanced muscles throughout their body? Do they have? Are our dogs fulfilled, not just physically exercised, but are they fulfilled? Are they just knackered from running and kind of, you know, having that movement, having had that movement, or are they also fulfilled mentally? And here I want to bring on the concept of the fulfillment cup. Many of you will have heard that before. There is a nice, beautiful concept of, I'm not sure who is the author of this. This isn't my concept. I'm borrowing it from someone because it's a brilliant idea. So imagine your dog has a glass inside of them. Each dog has a glass inside of them, or a cup inside of them. And they're always wanting to have that cup quite full. As the cup is draining, as the liquid is draining out of the cup, and there will be a small hole there, because that cup is going to drain as time goes. As the liquid is draining, the dog will seek to fill it up again. So it's always nice and beautifully full. A dog who is fulfillment cup, whose contentment cup is full to the brim, is the kind of dog who just looks satisfied, who is happy tired, but not panting tired, not wired necessarily. Well, I'm not saying that a dog with diluted pupils who wants their ball isn't fulfilled. They might be, but a dog who is fulfilled and content will typically be very flexible about whether you're doing stuff or not. So a fulfilled and content dog, if you say to them, we're gonna just chill now, a dog like that will say, yeah, cool, that's fine with me, and they chill, right? And when you say, shall we do something, let's go and do something, the dog will be like, yeah, let's do something. And a content dog will be flexible like that. A content dog will be easy, they will find it easy to relax as well as be active and up for mischief. Okay, and that's one way in which you can tell a content dog. Okay, so spaniels, working cockers in particular, and working type springers, they don't have a cup, they have a bucket, and their bucket has loads of holes in it. So you have to keep filling it up, especially young ones. Older dogs are a lot more kind of steady, and they are not quite such high maintenance. These young dogs, they are looking for thrills, looking for adrenaline a lot. They're looking for, things are still new. They get quite excited, and they have this very powerful desire to explore and do and experience different things, loads of different new things. So for those dogs, it matters what you put into that contentment cup. And exercise, physical exercise, is only one of the things that should be going into this cup for a working type dog. It's only one of those things. There is so much more. Of course, health and well-being and good diet, they're all in there. sufficient rest, that's all in there. Is your dog sleeping enough? Is your dog sleeping well? Is your dog comfortable sleeping? Kind of all the kind of basic needs, are they met? That's going to have to all be there. Does your dog have enough social engagement? Does your dog have enough companionship with you and with other significant beings, individuals in their life? That could be the human family, it could be your other dogs, it could be your other animals. Dogs form different relationships with different types of creatures. Meeting loads of unfamiliar other dogs on a walk isn't probably going to fulfill that social need. That's not really what that doesn't go under the cup of socialization, really, although most people think it does. That meeting lots of dogs on a walk is a great way to socialize. It's not really. Meeting familiar dogs regularly is. Meeting lots of unfamiliar dogs is more of a thrill-seeking kind of thing. So unless the dogs you meet on a walk are familiar, in which case, your dog has a relationship with them. If they're the same neighbor's dog that they see every day, that's a completely different story than if they meet completely unfamiliar dogs. But I diverge. So we've got a contentment cup. For working type dogs, there is a thing that I believe has to go into this cup. That has to go, for most working dogs, it has to go into this cup, and it's more important than walks. That's my unpopular opinion. My unpopular opinion is that for working dogs, walks are not going to fill this cup. They are a nice top-up. Walks can be a really nice top-up. It all depends on your walks and what your walks look like. But a lot of people, a lot of us dog owners, we are being told that walking our dog is the one important thing, and that's the one need that has to be met. And if that's not met, things are gonna be, we're bad dog owners, and that's the main thing we have to do. With working dogs, I do not believe that's the case. I believe walks are a great thing, and that I definitely believe walks are beneficial to a lot of dogs, to most dogs who have no particular behavior issues or fears and are in good health. I think walks are brilliant, and I definitely would put them in there, right? But there is another non-negotiable element for most working dogs, and that's a job for your dog. So that's giving your dog tasks, opportunities to solve problems, opportunities to use their skills, to use their fabulous senses, smell, hearing, all their fabulous different senses, to use their body, use their speed, their agility, their strength, and to use their thinking, and to use their breed-specific traits to solve problems and earn reinforcement, earn rewards. That's what I mean by that. That is something that really needs to be in that contentment cup. So the question isn't how much exercise does my dog really need? I would rephrase that question to summarize, and I would say, what is required for my dog's fulfillment? What is required for my dog's contentment cup to be full? What kind of things do I need to provide as a dog owner to have a content dog who is content, but also who is well prepared for all the things that I want for them to experience, because I know it will make them happy. It will enrich their life and my life. Okay, lots of interactive activities with you should be in that contentment cup. Lots of companionship, lots of chilling and relaxing together, lots of the basic necessities like a good rest, excellent diet, good health. All of these things should be in there. Outlets for breed specific needs, for species specific needs, for individual needs. Outlets for age or development specific needs. So for certain ages of dogs that might be chewing and so on. Okay, I hope this is helpful. I'm just going to check the comments to see if you guys want to contribute, give me some ideas, or have any questions for me. It looks like there's nothing there with regards to questions and other comments. So I'm going to finish here. Thanks so much, guys, for joining me today, and have a fabulous, lovely, fun-filled, contentment-filled, fulfillment-filled, and appropriate exercise-filled rest of the week.